Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to discuss with you my takeaways from reading the article Management Time, Who's Got the Monkey, written at the Harvard Business Review in 1979. And although it was written so long ago, it remains more current as ever nowadays. I couldn't help noticing by reading the article and recognizing myself in the situations described there, every step of the way, as to what I've been experiencing in our work environment, with our staff, the challenges that we have to cope with, and the work that is being either handed to me or the work that I've been taking on without even realizing at the moment. I would call it my instinctive reaction to address issues, cope with problems, resolve concerns, which is leading me to a false sense of control and adding value to our everyday's flow of work and operations. Although I haven't realized till now that I read it, in a more calm fashion, that I'm actually putting obstacles to my actual duties and work that I need to be doing at the clinic. So in the next couple of videos, I'm going to be explaining my thoughts and my suggested countermeasures in order to cope with this management time concern. Apart from the systemic imposed time that's necessary to be, spent in order to cope with colleagues or peers or employees' concerns and assist with problems and issues and concerns, from an operational standpoint, there's also the time and the work that's handed to me from obviously the ownership handing over projects to be done at any given time. Obviously, it is impossible to not prioritize these tasks as they're coming from the ownership. So this is another factor that comes into play as to managing my time. So the quest here and the task here, the question is that I should be able to come up with the necessary suggested countermeasures that would allow me to have the capacity to tackle tasks that are handed by the ownership, by the owner, and obviously spend some systemic time in terms of helping out peers and colleagues with problems, concerns, and challenges that they might be facing. So in the next video, I'm going to be suggesting some countermeasures that come to mind so that I would be able to manage my time in a more effective manner. That's going to be also beneficial for myself and the organization as a whole. In the article, Jones, an employee in an organization, comes across their manager, and they pretty much ask for help from her, from their manager, due to the fact that they encountered some problems with the task at hand. The manager, standing there in a brief, hallway encounter, takes on the task of looking into it and providing feedback to that employee on a later time, on a later date. So he takes on the task of pretty much fulfilling and solving that problem for the employee, working for them in a sense. Same as myself, on an everyday basis, I'll come across members of the staff, like assistants, asking to check their work and if the actual order that they've placed has already been processed by the supplier, and then report back to them and when it's going to be delivered, and so on and so forth. And I instinctively take on, obviously, the task by saying that I'll check it and get back to you today. So I'm taking on work that I shouldn't be doing. Another example would be, for instance, some other member of the staff might be looking for someone to replace them for their time off request. And they might say, I couldn't find someone to replace me on that day. Can you check around and see if you can find someone? Again, I'm taking on a task that's not mine to take, as we've discussed with everybody. In that manner, I'm just depriving myself of the time I need in order to observe the flow of work, understand problems and identify root causes, and being able to suggest countermeasures to fix those, and obviously drive our business forward. Here are some countermeasures I thought, in order to allow me to manage my time more effectively during the day. Initially, I have to establish the specific day and time where the systemic imposed time will be taking place. We need to have meetings with the ones that need the help or have, they need to discuss problems they're facing with their tasks and determine the right course of action. That would not necessarily be resulting me taking on new tasks, but obviously seeing if the person who wants to pretty much take the monkey off their back should be doing so. Another measure that I was developing was obviously establish specific principles. We can, in another video, discuss what those would entail. Select, train, and assemble a team of employees with specific, agendas. So they would be acting as the first layer of people that would be looking into solving those issues before they reach management. And these people would also be empowered, and my job would be to inculate the sense of ownership. So before reaching out to management to consult or ask them to solve issues and problems there would be some work done, and the goal is to have responses, answers, and solutions provided before they reach management. So these are the first two thought process that I have come up with, and it's still a work in progress. Thank you.